Welcome back, fellow family rejects and autistic motherfuckers. All right, today we're going to be going over the Minuteman Rifleman loadout. So basically, if you're a fucking basic bitch and you have no particular set of fucking skills, and all you want to do is just kind of be a body to a body asset to your group, I got the solution for you. Basically, the basic bitch setup for your regular homie, the guy who's okay at shooting. He's just okay at basically everything. He's got okay PT. He's got an okay setup. And also, this is probably the most budget friendly setup too. Out of all the skills you could have, just being a basic rifleman, you are needed, but you are a basic bitch. So, let's kind of go over your rifle setup. All right. So, this is an 11.5. I don't recommend that for anyone because, especially civilians, you're not a fucking door kicker. You're gonna die. You try to go into any kind of urban setting and think you're gonna clear room after room like a fucking tier one, like Navy SEAL or some bullshit like that. No, you are a fucking basic bitch, and what you need is something more equivalent to, let's say, the 5.56 round. So 20 inch to maybe a 14.5. There's a reason why they issue the standard soldier or infantryman a fucking 14.5 and not a Mark 18 or some shit where he's like popping a 10.5 barrel and going room to room dropping bodies. No, you're a basic bitch. So 16 inches, perfect in my opinion, length. It accommodates the high muzzle velocity with a 5.56 round, and you can actually fucking clear rooms with it too, if you need to. And if you ever think about it, you're not gonna, like, if you get a shorter barrel, you're gonna have to invest more money into higher quality ammo to be able to perform at distances. All right. If you got a 16 to 20 inch barrel in your AR, you're going to be able to push out, definitely out to 500 meters, no fucking problem. Plus, if you ever take a look out at pretty much any landscape, even in the cities, there's a lot of areas where you're going to have distance to cover, and you're going to want that muzzle velocity to reach out to those distances. So the whole shorter barrel stuff is basically just for strictly indoors, but you're going to be doing much more than that, and you can't carry multiple different platforms around with you. So carrying a 16, 14.5, anything pretty much above that, the 16 I think is pretty good sweet spot, and there's nothing wrong with the thing. Plus, you don't have to worry about SBRing or trying to jump through legal hoops or anything like that with a 16 inch. You can just go in, buy it. Most states you don't even have to wait for a 16 inch length barrel rifle. You don't have to wait on any waiting list. So if some have the pistol laws, so if you have the shorty, or you just buy the lowers or something like that, and you're waiting, 7, 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever your state tyrannical government tells you have to wait. So 16 inches. Then you got choice: brakes or flash hiders. Me, I just have a Surefire War Comp on here. The A2 birdcage that you get on your pretty standard rifle that you find at any local gun shop, that is perfect. You don't need anything special unless you plan on getting a suppressor. Then if you plan on getting a suppressor, maybe then consider changing out your muzzle device to accommodate whatever can you end up choosing. Now, do you need a can? No. Do they benefit you significantly? Yes, they benefit you with muzzle velocity, signature reduction. They change the tone, and they can reduce recoil. But they add more barrel length and weight to your rifle. And you can also get pretty gassy with the suppressors on your rifle if you're not tuned for them. Next, right, is what kind of optic should your standard rifleman have, or your Minuteman rifleman? So if you're going to be picking out things and you're balling on a budget, there is nothing wrong with just rocking a red dot. Red dots are very affordable, and there's plenty of reputable red dots now that are actually pretty durable, and you don't really have to think too much about it. Like, you can get some of these Sig Romeo ones for like 70, 80 bucks, and they're perfect for a brokey or a poor boy guy that wants to get in the shooting, and they're good enough for you. But I mean, upgrade the mount or something like that you have on there. I just have an Aimpoint Pro, so. But yeah, Aimpoints are a little pricier. This is like the budgetest Aimpoint that they got, so it's like $500. But you don't have to get that. You can go with a Holosun and everything like that. And then having a pair of backup irons. These are just plastic M-busses. You can get those relatively cheap. I really wouldn't recommend having these as a primary or really a secondary. I'd probably recommending you invest into something a little more durable, like metal sights. But these are backups, and I got an Aimpoint on here, so I'm not too worried about my Aimpoint going down unless the battery dies. That's more likely the thing that fail in this is the battery. Next, if you can't afford nods, and I know a lot of people can't, is you must have at least a white light on your rifle. Why? Because 50% of the day, or during the 24-hour period that you could be operating in, it's dark, right? So you have to have a way to PID enemies, clear buildings, and they're also, good for clearing inside dark buildings, because you can go be outside and it's daylight out, and then you go inside and boom, it's dark. So you need a way to light stuff up. All right, this one's just a Streamlight like HLX or whatever the fuck it is, ProTAC. Comes with everything: pressure pad, 2 different tail caps, mounting systems. So it's worth the money. It's like $100. Everything else you put on your rifle is pretty much just for like hand stops or vertical grips or whatever. That's all just shooter preference, and you don't need them, but they could help you. Another thing you want to get is a sling. Make sure you have a sling for your rifleman or your rifle, because it's going to keep the rifle attached to you. And if you're walking long distances and stuff like that, it's important. Next. It basically covers this fucking thing. Funny story about these bolt cutters I got here. I got a gift card for them, and my mom told me not to buy anything stupid at Home Depot and buy something that I'd probably use. So I use those to get bolt cutters, and still haven't used them. And she didn't like my purchase. What are you gonna use bolt cutters for? I was like, I don't know, Mom. Future, right? Anyway, next, kind of onto your kit. Like I said earlier, nods are expensive, and you don't have them, but you made the poor financial decision to make your kids eat ramen. So you bought nods, right? You got a pair of PVS 14s, the budget ones you can go. All right, let's go ahead and bust these bad boys out. Fuck. I keep mine in a Faraday cage because expensive, you know. Better keep them running. All right, you got your PVS 14s, all right, but you can't afford a laser. So there's other options you can do. One, rock your red dot, and you can passively aim through your nods. And then, depending on the night, if there's no loom, you're going to just not be able to see shit, because you have to have some sort of light. So your other option is, instead of running a white light, you can run a dedicated IR light, either like a Surefire Vampire, which has white light and IR light, or you can run like a Goon Beam or something like that, which has a dedicated IR light. So with a dedicated IR light, you don't need a laser. You're still putting an output, or you're still outputting a signature. But to the naked eye, it's going to be pretty much invisible unless you have an LED IR light, which you'll have a small red light or something shining from here, which it's very minuscule and it's actually kind of hard to see, so probably wouldn't worry about too much about it. But under nods, it's bright as shit. But that will allow you to see in areas where there is no light at all, or no ambient light, so that your nods can take advantage of and magnify that light so you can see in the dark. Next. Oh, what are you going to wear your nods on, right? Having a helmet. This is just a Team Wendy bump. I went the budget route instead of a Wilcox, and I just used a Rhino mount that I had lying around with a J-arm. It saved me about $500. And then I mounted some sword-ins on here. If you're going to be any kind of rifleman shooting a gun or any position, you should definitely have ear pro, because hearing is important, especially when your buddies are moving and communicating, and you got to make sure you can hear what they're saying. Next, have an IFAC. We're getting down into the kit now. Oh, you know what? Let's back up a little bit. Have extra batteries for your nods. I have a Spirit System small GP pouch. Within this, I got these EBL lithium rechargeable batteries, and I have a small rechargeable battery pack that I can recharge these with in my kit. But this is this small GP pouch. You can run it on a belt, pretty much a low profile belt. I have the Saguaro Gear Emissary belt. This is my EDC belt / like light duty. It's in my opinion, it's a multi-purpose multi-purpose belt. So, and then I run one extra mag and on my hip, because it's faster to reload from the hip than from my kit. And then I just feed the my Kiwi StatTAC that I have here on my belt, or whatever, my hip. All right, now this just light setup works really well when you're out hiking around and moving through the mountains and stuff like that. So, and that's very important. That's not going to limit your hip flexors or your leg motion compared to if you're carrying a handgun with a holster. Then I have experience with running into issues with my handgun or whatever, with a pack and everything, interfering with my legs moving. So back up into the kit, right, is this is my Mayflower chest rig. I've done multiple videos on it. I'm not going to go too much in detail about what I put in it, because I run, mostly I have an SPR that I run, and I have my whole setup translated to running that. So as a rifleman, you want to be able to carry as many mags on you as possible, right? So I have 2 in these general purpose pouches on the side. They're too small to put nods on, which really bothered me. And I ended up getting, again, the small Spiritus GP pouch to carry my nods, because I couldn't have them on my baseline kit, which was really annoying to me. Yeah, it was really annoying to me that I couldn't have my nods on my baseline kit. And that's something I've always had done from when I was in basic training to later on in the military. And I feel like at least having a force multiplier like night vision on me, on my kit, is essential to your survival, right? Because that's how you're going to see 50% of the time. But anyway, back to this kit. All right, first thing, as a rifleman, you should be having is at least carrying as many mags as you possibly can. Yes, you can have the standard combat load of 7 mags, 6 on your kit, 1 in the gun. That's a great standard to go off of. But from my experience, and there's other people out there, that's really not a lot of ammo. And I personally ran out in training combat situations when I was op 4 multiple times, where you're just laying down suppressing fire all the time, and especially in defensive positions where I just burn through ammo. And I've gone through multiple combat loads within a few hours of each other or something like that, and then having to go back to our base, or like the little headquarters where we store, and resupply myself, and then get back into the fight. And every time you're doing that, if you have to go resupply, if you have that ability, you're putting yourself out there because you're going to have to move somewhere instead of staying in your defensive position. And also, you're putting other people at risk if they're trying to come to you and resupply. So carrying as many mags on you as possible. The way I run this Mayflower is I have two 30-round GI mags in each of these GP pouches. As a rifleman, you're just a guy on the team. As a rifleman, you're just a guy on the team. So you're not going to be pretty much running the comms. You're just going to be like taking the orders from your team leader, your squad leader, or whatever like that. And you're going to be moving how he wants you to. So radio communications really aren't going to be your thing. Either if they are, and you guys all run radios, you could probably get an expander wing, put it on the inside of this, and just run it off back behind here. But ammo is important. So being able to carry as many rounds on you as possible. I carry 8 on my kit, 1 on my hip, so for there, and then 1 on the gun, so that's 10 total. And I feel like that should be more of a standard, or I believe at least that should be more of a standard for a Minuteman guerrilla fighter guy or whatever, to sustain yourself and your team. And then if you're running an assault pack or a ruck, you should also definitely be carrying a second, at least, combat load within that. I carry an extra 8 mags inside my kit, or my ruck, for resupplying myself. Then depending on whether, like, you know, your position is as a rifleman, is always being able to carry or keep, I don't know, I got 2 in here, I just do. I think because I found my StatTAC compass. But keeping a compass on here is important for your land nav. So also carrying a protractor, and then having some set of maps. And maybe the way your group is, you're also not going to be carrying maps as just a standard rifleman. So there is other things you can carry. It's like chem lights, shit like that. Another important thing, having an IFAC. IFACs are not for your buddies, right? If you're the only guy in your small little group or your team that has medical, that's not really for them. That's for you. All right, so if you get shot, your buddies can grab your IFAC and patch you up with your shit. So that way, everybody has their own medical supplies for them. All right, so you're not, you know, taking out your shit to patch up your buddy here, and then you get hit, and then they're the guy who's coming to help you out, you know, he maybe doesn't have anything on him or something like that, and he's like, well, where the fuck do I get it? You know, so everybody having their own IFAC on them is important. I keep multiple tourniquets in here. I'm not going to tell you how to pack your IFAC. There's plenty of other better videos that could tell you how to do that out there from way more recommendable or reputable people in that field. But having more than one tourniquet is good, because if you're getting shot, you're probably going to get shot more than once. And then at least having probably 2 chest seals, because if you get a through and through, you're going to have to put one on the initial entrance and the exit. Another thing is, I think it's important to have some sort of knife, fixed blade, foldable, something for admin shit. You never know. And then having that on your offhand, just in case you ever do need to use it for some fucking reason. If you're cool and you have a bayonet set up for your AR, so you can get a little extra spear action going, that's pretty fucking cool. Now, back up kind of to the helmet stuff. If you, like I said, you can't afford night vision, which it's expensive, and you have a white light and stuff. Having a helmet is actually really important, depending on what you're doing, especially if you're in vehicles a lot. Which, if you're operating in some sort of guerrilla or Minuteman aspect, what your main transportation things is going to be is vehicles. And if you're running from somebody and you're going through like maybe rougher terrain, you're going to be bumping around a lot. And from experiences from me, from driving in beat up pickup trucks in the desert, being off 4 and shit, is when you start to hit some of these trails and you're going kind of relatively fast, you're going to bounce around, bang your head up on shit. So having some sort of helmet to protect you is definitely going to be beneficial to you. You don't have to have, especially like something like a plastic high-speed $300 helmet like I got. You can go something a little more. You can probably find some Chinese knockoff bump helmets or some shit on Amazon that will at least protect your head from bumps and bruises. But if you decide not to even have a helmet, because bump helmet really, I just got it for nods, and I can't afford a ballistic helmet, is having some sort of hat, boonie hat, or like a baseball cap or something like that, something to go on your head, protect your head from light, keep the sun out of your eyes, shit like that. Let's see what else. Oh, so kind of also into some kit theory here is, like I said, your main transportation is going to be vehicles, right? So if you ever been in vehicles with any kind of kit, especially if you're a police officer or something like that, is you kind of want to run the back of you pretty slick. You don't want to have anything back there, because if you're driving for any period of time, it's going to be becoming uncomfortable, and you don't want that bothering you while you're driving, right? Especially if you're like a rifleman, you don't really need a handgun. Handguns are kind of like a last ditch effort, and your rifle is your main setup, and that's what you got to keep up and feed. And you should be in a group of guys, because if you're not and you're a lone wolf guy, you're gonna fucking die. So, or you're just going to be so tired that you're going to forget something and probably fuck up and die because you made a stupid mistake other than getting shot in a combat situation. And also, if you're by yourself, someone in a group is going to be able to maneuver on you quick, and you're not even going to know what the fuck happened. So that's kind of some basics around this. Another thing I think it's actually kind of important to have as any kind of member in any kind of group is some sort of small range finding device. This is a Halo XLR 3000. It's a little more on the price I got it for on sale for $150, but it can go up pretty far. It's like 1,500 point on a non-reflective and like 3,000 or something on a reflective. But being able to range your targets, or while you're setting up range cards or something like that, as a quick reference for your defensive fighting positions, you can, instead of breaking this out every time you want to try to engage something on your range card, you just refer to that, like after you draw it out, and you can use your range finder to find a distance for everything. So that way it's more accurate, and you know your hold. If you know your holds, or you can dial, or zero your iron sights or whatever fuck it is too. That distance, and making you a more lethal fighting force. And one more thing, I don't have it on my kit because I took it out to do something else, is keeping extra batteries for your lights, your optics, night vision, any kind of electrical equipment that you have on you. And then also multi-tool. Having a multi-tool. Never know when you're going to need one, and they're useful for a lot of other things other than just cool guy tactical shit. Stay autistic, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, like, subscribe, check out my Instagram. I post some shit on there sometimes. And join the Telegram. And thanks for watching me talk in my basement again for, I think, a little while. It's a longer video. But thanks, guys.